Okay, so I know I'm really late, and my 1 year on T was a while ago. It's now the 15th of October. My 1 year on T was the 20th of September, but better late than never. Um, I have been posting content on this channel, but it hasn't been trans related. It's been more of the travel stuff that I've been doing recently. But as from now, it's going to be back to trans stuff because I know that's mainly what people watch this channel for, and that's why I like doing this, for trans stuff, not really for travel stuff. But yeah, 1 year on T. I'm gonna do the updates basically from head to toe. Physical changes, then more changes you can't really see, so personality and moods and stuff like that. And then I put a thing up on my Instagram story, just if anybody has any questions. But I feel like most of the questions I'll answer already within this. So yeah, I'll leave whatever to the end and see what we're left with. But starting at the top, I'd say my hair hasn't really changed. 1 year on T, it's still pretty much the same. I've always had like a lot of, like, my hair's always been really thick. It's still the exact same. It hasn't like thinned out or anything like that. My hairline hasn't really receded or anything. It's still pretty full. It's went back a little bit, but it's still pretty much the same as what it was. In regards to like facial hair, you can't really see my mustache. Well, you can a wee bit, slightly, and the sides and stuff like that. But I've talked about this before. Both sides, the sideburns are coming in alright, and then there's a wee bit underneath as well, which is growing quite well. Obviously my voice was probably one of the most noticeable things, which happened fairly quickly for me. I don't really think that I have an Adam's apple. There's like a bump here, there, but I don't think you can really notice it. But my voice obviously has went down an awful lot. I'll see if I can put in, because I found the other day, voice notes from whenever I was like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months on T, and it's mad the difference. So if I can put those in, I'll put them in here.
This is my voice 1 month on testosterone. This is my voice 3 months on testosterone.
I hope that worked. My shoulders, I know an awful lot of trans guys say that their shoulders get really, really broad. I don't really know if like they always say like their neck and their shoulders get broader. I don't know if mine's has. It's hard to tell. I do know though that I'm getting, like, in clothes, I used to be like a small, now I'd be a medium or a large, like in clothes. So I don't know whether that's because I'm putting on weight or because my shoulders are getting broader. I don't know, but that's changed. A good thing that I've noticed this time last year, I was wearing a binder every single day. I was completely dependent on getting up in the morning. It was part of my getting dressed routine, just binder on. Always had to make sure it was there. It was clean. It was the most important thing that I had to put on every single morning. The last, I'd say maybe 6 or 7 months, I haven't worn a binder at all. Not once, not one time have I put it on. Which is so much more freeing for myself. Like, I used to have really bad pains in my ribs. It used to give me really bad trouble in my shoulders and in my back. And just not being able to wear one, it just makes me feel so much better about myself. It doesn't even cause me that much dysphoria anymore, because with T, my chest has like reduced. The you know, I've had an awful lot of like body fat redistribution, which has went from here to my hips. So instead of my hips being like this, they're now starting to sort of straighten out a bit. I'll put a photo in of my hips as well once I get to that. But my chest, definitely, I've seen a difference. I was never very big chested anyway, which thank God for, because I know it must be really hard for trans guys who are quite big chested and haven't had surgery. But I was always quite small chested. But even since starting testosterone, it's went down even more, which is great. I love hormones. I'm getting a bit of a snail trail, like on my belly. I don't know whether I should show you now or whether I should just put it in the video. I'll put a photo in of my snail trail. And I'm actually getting a wee bit of hair on my chest as well, which is really, really strange. My hips, which I mentioned just not too long ago there, I'll put a photo in of my hips before and a photo that I took not too long ago. You can definitely see a change in my hips. It is brilliant. It is one of the changes that I'm probably happiest with, because I was so dysphoric about my hips. I used to hate them. I could never wear men's jeans or trousers or anything like that. Whenever I used to be in school and I used to have to tuck my shirt into my trousers, it used to just draw so much attention to the fact that I had female hips, and I hated it. I used to have to get trousers that were maybe a 36-inch waist, and now I'm down to a 30 or a 32 at a push, depending on the trouser size, but usually a 30-inch waist, which is brilliant. I love the fact that my hips have come in so much. For anybody else, it's not a noticeable difference. You know, I wouldn't walk down the street and someone wouldn't look at me and go, oh, that's a man, but he has really big hips. But for trans people, it's all in here. The dysphoria takes over, and you'd be like, he's thinking I have really big hips, or she's thinking that I have really big hips. But yes, in the last year, my hips have come in massively, and I love that, because stress city. I've also got, I always did have like hairy legs. Like whenever I came out at 15 and stopped shaving my legs from then, so it's been like 4 years since I last shaved my legs. But on top of them just growing with testosterone, they've got thicker and they've got darker too. It's kind of at the bottom, so like from like my knee down, it's quite like thick and dark. But it's starting to sort of come up to my knees and like onto my thighs and stuff as well. I'll put a photo in as well of my hair legs, because who doesn't want to see that? My feet haven't changed. I used to think that you would get bigger feet. I haven't. I'm still a size 5. I still have tiny feet. Yeah, that's probably all of the physical changes, top to bottom. In regards to the more personal changes, I suppose, or the more changes you can't really see, not physical ones, my mood has changed. I have talked about this before. Before I was on testosterone, I wasn't like massively emotional. You know, I feel like whenever I say that, people would think that I cried like 24/7. I didn't, but I did cry. You know, I would have cried at certain things. I would have got emotional at them. I still do. I still feel sadness and I still feel emotion, you know, if something happens. But I turn more to anger now rather than to cry, which I always heard from trans people and just from like men in general, that their go-to emotion is anger. And I never thought that I would be like that, because I never had a history of anger problems, or I never was an angry person beforehand, so I didn't really think it would have affected me, but it still has. And I think throughout the last year, with my hormones, the dosage being upped as well, I went from like 0.4 mils to 4 full mils. You can definitely feel the difference and feel the change. And so anger is probably like an emotion that I would feel an awful lot depending on the time, whatever's happening. I'm still, like I said in my mental health video, I'm still struggling to control it. I still don't completely know how to, but every day you just try a little harder than you did the day before, and one day we'll get there. So yeah, that's probably that in regards to moods and emotions. Smell is another one. I don't know if it's just me, but people did say that like your body odor will change, and I think mine's has. Like, you obviously don't know what you smell like. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what you smell like. I never knew what I smelled like, but all I know now is I would need to get a shower an awful lot more than what I would have before, because stereotypically boys going through puberty sweat an awful lot, and I think that's what it is. I think that's probably what the smell comes down to. It's not, and the thing is, it's not necessarily like I smell like sweat or I smell like BO or whatever. Like, it's just I do need to shower like an awful lot, but that's fine. You can do that. Just keep on top of it. I don't really have a problem with that. It's just part of the process. I'm hungry 24/7, and when I say I'm hungry 24/7, I mean I am hungry all of the time. You could ask anybody. You could ask my mum, my dad, my sisters, my best friend, anybody. I am probably eating whenever you see me. I'm surprised I'm not eating right now. I don't know what it is, but it is a thing, and it is, yeah, it is a thing. I can get up in the morning, I can have breakfast, and half an hour later I will be hungry and I will be ready for another full meal. I could go out and I could have dinner, and an hour later I'll be ready for another dinner. I have like breakfast, lunch, dinner, but I'm always eating in between. And even though people always say, oh, if you eat before your dinner, you're going to ruin your dinner. No, not me. I could eat my lunch, I could eat something in between. I could probably eat something else, and then I could still eat a food scale dinner. And then I'll eat something after my dinner, and then I'll probably eat something before I go to bed. There was a time, not too long ago, where I actually woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, starving, and had to go and get something to eat. And whenever I say starving, I mean my stomach was rumbling. Like, I was starving. So yeah, I eat an awful lot of food, and I eat an awful lot of food an awful lot of the time. I don't know how I feel about that change, but yeah, that's a thing. I feel obviously more confident in myself, you know, with my voice. I used to hate taking phone calls because I always would have got mistaken for a girl on the phone because of my voice was so high. Now I never do. You know, even not wearing a binder, my chest is so small now that I could go out wearing a t-shirt, and I used to panic that people would tell that, you know, I had boobs. You cannot tell. So the confidence that I felt in myself in the last year is massive. It really, really makes such a difference to how I do everyday things, which is something that without testosterone, I think I'd still be struggling with, to be honest. My phone was really rude and just decided to tell me that I didn't have enough storage left. So I can't even remember what I was talking about. I should probably look, but I can't even remember. But anyway, you probably got the gist of what I was on about. I ramble anyway in these videos. This video is probably going to be about 15 minutes long. It really doesn't need to be. But yeah, one of the questions that I got that I didn't feel as if I could have answered within the rest of the video was, what are the flaws to it? I don't know whether it's it as in testosterone or it as in the process, but anyway, the only flaw that I sort of feel is that you have to go and get an injection every 3 months. That's it. It's a bit of an inconvenience, but it's not a massive inconvenience for the changes and the confidence that it gives me and myself. It just means sort of rescheduling things around if need be, but that's honestly about it. So yeah, I hope this video was a bit more what you're looking for. I know the last two were more travel related, so this one was definitely what this channel was created for. If you have any more questions or any ideas for videos, leave them down below, because I could do with a couple of ideas for future videos. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with all your friends. Put it out there. But yeah, no, seriously, thank you all for still watching and giving me a space to talk about myself without that sounding big-headed. But yeah, it's a safe space, and I hope everybody always knows that. If you need anybody to talk to, you know, you can get me on any of my social medias. The links will be down below, and I'll put them all here as well, so you can catch me on any of those. I'm always here to talk and help anybody out, and I love and appreciate you all very much.